Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Red Valkyrie Presents. I am, of course, Shae the Red with my, I was going to say amazing co-host, but then they busted my chops down in the private chat, so with my average co-host, Cyborg.
Above average.
Slightly
above average.
Just barely. How are you, Cyborg?
I'm doing awesome. How are you, Shae?
I'm good. It's a Sunday. I have so much coursework to do after this. It's going to be so much fun. But we're here currently slacking off with Andy because Andy Smith is super badass and has a really cool project that we want to talk about. So how have you been, Andy?
I've been good. Thank you very much. Thanks for asking. Hello, everyone. Yesterday, because I love shouting out myself, was my birthday. So
happy belated
birthday.
Thank you very much.
That's awesome.
So, yesterday was the big 25. I'm excited to finally hit quarter of a century. Yeah.
You can finally rent a car.
I can finally rent a car.
Lower
I don't know
insurance rates.
I don't know if you've actually heard this or not, but a friend of mine actually told me that he read that people that are turning 25 are saying they're having quarter life crises. And I'm like, okay, you need to shut up.
No, it's not a quarter life crisis. It's called reality setting in about life.
Growing
That's
the
what
fuck
it is.
up.
It's you finished college and went, oh no, my liberal arts degree isn't going to do shit. Damn it, what do I do now? Like that's not a quarter life crisis. That's just life.
Yeah. So
wow.
You're no longer on your parents' insurance.
right. No.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, I have to pay attention to a 401k? Oh, shit.
Well,
I don't understand.
It's funny because my partner in crime on this that couldn't be here, Dennis, he has two kids that are in their, thank you very much, Matt. He has two kids that are in their late 20s. And, I guess, the wife always seems to be more the one to be like, they didn't do this or they didn't do this. And at that age, it's kind of like, yeah, whatever, they're adults. And she did. This was a few months back. Dennis was telling me that his wife was kind of like, Jonathan hasn't paid his car insurance yet. He's going to let it lapse or whatever. And Dennis is like, okay. Because the kids, I think he's 27 or 28. It's like, well, that's his problem. You know what I mean?
That's how my family was. Is my parents were like, do you really want to move out? And I was like, yeah, I need to. And my mom was like, well, okay, that's on you then. And like after I moved out, it was, hey, so I think I'm going to join the military. And she's like, oh, that might be a good move where you'll actually have, I don't know, health insurance. And I was like, yeah, little things like going to the doctor when you're sick.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Pish posh.
So,
yeah. Sigh. How's that health insurance through Red Valkyrie coming?
Look, I saw a doctor 2.5 years ago and I was good. So that's
see, I can't.
See that I can't
Andy,
do that. I
need you to help me beat Psy into submission to getting insurance and going to the doctor.
I go once a year. Because I'm lucky. I have health insurance, through my wife. So unlike the typical freelancer who it's like you're really stressing out, back in early 90s, when I broke in 91, I didn't get married till 95. So for 4 years, I didn't have health insurance. But even though to me, it doesn't seem that long ago, but it was 30 years ago, basically, I could still afford to go to the doctor and pay out of pocket for like a physical once a year. And if I had a prescription, because I have asthma and stuff, I could pay out of pocket for all that crap. So now, with having health insurance for basically the past 27 years and dental and stuff, if my health insurance says you get one physical a year, hell yeah, I'm going, because we pay a monthly thing for health insurance. And if my dentist is like, my dental coverage is like, you're covered for 2 visits a year, hell yeah, I'm going. Because whereas
I'm already paying for this.
Right. But a friend of mine has health insurance and he doesn't go to the doctor yearly, doesn't go to the dentist that often. And I'm like, but you're paying for it. I could get I could get it if you don't have health insurance. Then it's like, yeah, I don't have it. I'll go when I'm sick. But if you have it and you're not going, it kind of boggles my mind because, like you said, you're paying for it.
Right.
So, same principle. I mean, you pay for car insurance. Why not, run somebody off the road when they're being a dick? I mean, you're paying for it.
I understand what you're saying, but here's the difference. If I run somebody off the road, my car insurance is going to pay for it, and my rates are going to go up. When I go to the doctor once a year for a physical, which they say this comes with your health insurance, my rates don't go up for that physical. Now, maybe if they find something really wrong, I don't know, but I don't know how old you are either. So
I don't go up
old
either.
enough to know better is how old Cyborg is. Old enough to know better.
You don't stop, and then you report it later as like, hey, someone hit my parked car, and then you're good. You're good.
Oh,
Do not take advice from Cy. That is a surefire way to have a very bad life.
I did that before, though, when I was still going to art school. Long story short, my brother came up to visit me, and he was in front of me at a stop sign to turn right. And he nudged, he moved forward some, and I thought he was going, so I stepped on it. And then he stops all of a sudden. I hit the back of his car. And that was his car, but the car I was in was my parents' car. Nice. So I told him, I said I came out from grocery shopping, and somebody must have backed into the front of the car. I said, I cannot believe it. I put on this whole great act, and, of course, they called their insurance company, and, it was taken care of.
Hi, Mom and Dad. If you're watching, the truth comes out all these years later.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally had somebody back into me in a parking lot at a stop sign, and this girl, I don't know what was wrong with her other than she was stupid. I gave her like a car length and a half because I didn't trust her because she seemed flighty. When you look at somebody and you're I feel like you don't know where you are and you're probably not a good driver. So I'm just going to give you a wide berth. So I gave her a car length and a half at a stop sign in a parking lot. And this girl was not going. And then out of nowhere, she kicked her car in reverse and gunned it without looking behind her. And I was blaring my freaking horn, and she still just gunned it until she felt the impact of the front of my car, looked shocked, moved forward about 2 feet, and then when she came out of her car, she goes, "Oh, did I get you?" And I was like, do you realize that there were people walking in this parking lot? Like, you could have killed a person just now, and you're like, "Oh, did I get you?" I'm like, yeah, you got me. You sure did. I need your insurance card, like, right now.
Yeah.
And I scared her so bad, she actually called her insurance company and had to have been like, "So I just backed into a woman," because when I finally got a hold of them, they were like, "We've been trying to reach you. Everything's covered. Where would you like your car taken? And we'll get you a rental." And I was like, I've never had this kind of experience with any insurance company. That's always been like, "Well, you have to prove. How are you going to prove that somebody backed into the front of your car and not that you rear-ended someone?" I'm like, I have a witness, but I don't think that he's going to be considered credible. So, like, I don't really know how to prove this. And they were just like, "Oh no, it's 100% we're at fault. Like, where would you like your car fixed?" I was just like, I might have to switch to this new insurance company now. Yeah. Like, better than mine.
Well, I would assume, not to go deep in the woods on insurance, but do you not have USAA because of military?
I do, and I will say USAA in Maryland has been the worst experience of my life, and I am desperately looking to switch to anybody else.
Really? Oh, yes. Okay. I mean, I've had it since my dad had it, so of course I got it, and
I had it when I was in Georgia, Texas, California. It was great. When I had it overseas, it was unbelievably amazing. Cool. I totaled the car overseas. They handled everything. Stay
off the Autobahn, Shae. Come on, it's not much for everybody.
No,
she swerved to avoid a leaf.
I swerved to avoid a rabbit, thank you, at 3 a.m. when I was already feeling not very good on a road that was not big enough to swerve. I ended up in a ditch, so.
Upside down in a ditch.
Not entirely upside, just on the driver's side. It was sideways. It's fine.
You rolled.
I'm fine. Yeah.
You rolled
anyway,
like a fat lady at a buffet.
Just a little bit. I had to climb out of my car vertically. It was really bad. Anywho, but no, ever since coming to Maryland, whatever hub I have to contact USA through here has been abysmal.
Oh.
I had a storm drain grate slash my tires, like, because the road was not kept up, and it popped up this giant metal grate and it slashed my tires on my passenger side. And when I pulled over while I was looking to see what had happened, so both my tires obviously destroyed. My metal rims were gouged out because it was a storm drain grate. It's not like a tiny thing. It's a big thing. And the road wasn't wide enough. The lane wasn't wide enough to not hit it. So there was like literally nothing to do. And while I was looking at that, another guy hit it, lost control of his truck, hit into the back of an SUV, and the truck went into oncoming traffic. The SUV hopped the curb, flew over a fence, landed in a parking lot that was below the street level, and completely totaled that guy's car. So, 100% not my fault. Nothing I could do about it. It was covered by the city, and USA was trying to say that I had to be the one to do everything. They were like, we don't contact, like, that's not what your insurance company won't contact the city to get reimbursed. And I was like, that's literally what I pay you for.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is absolutely what I paid. They also, when the girl backed into me, they wouldn't contact her insurance company. They made me try. I was having a difficult time getting a hold of them. And then when I finally got a hold of them, I found out that her insurance company had been contacting USA trying to get a hold of me, and they never connected them over to me.
Oh, jeez.
It was 2 months before I could get my car fixed.
Oh.
So whoever runs it in Maryland, you suck. And you're about to lose at least one, if not many more customers. Anyway, Totally irrelevant to why we're here.
That's right. But I love these tangents. So,
it's fun. It's fun. So before we get into Kor-Drath, I believe we have a cosplay reveal to do, Cyborg. Ooh. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm typing funny things.
I can see this
too with just getting stuff earlier today. So
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I dropped the ball. I was looking over everything I had to do today, and I was like, oh my gosh, we have a stream with Andy. I was like, oh my gosh, I suck so bad, like I totally forgot. Oh, and it's funny that you say that, because the company that was the girls when she backed into me was State Farm, and they were phenomenal. And I was like, hey, what will you give me if I switch? We might be going with State Farm.
Yeah, that's because all she had to do was do the chant, and the agent was in the car with her.
That's how it does.
Right?
All right, anyway, here we go.
Okay. Metamorphosis completed, sir.
Shae the Red
has now become
awesome.
Boom.
Wow, look at that.
It's not my best, but it's close.
In the time frame you had, I will say that's awesome.
Yeah, that was I even ran to the party store and was like, maybe there will be something. Literally nothing that would work. Not a single thing anyway. I went all up and down. I was like, well, if I needed to be a skeleton, I would be good, but like there's nothing of use here. So this is everything I already own.
You look great.
Thank you, Andy. I appreciate it. You know what?
You do. You look fantastic.
You have a character that I was very close to doing, and I was like, okay, I can pull off the red-haired character because red hair, easy, right? The other characters, so I did Adryana, and I wanted to do Lilith.
Yeah.
But I refuse to half-ass her because holy shit, she is amazing looking. And so I will.
Thank you.
At some point, I gotta get abs first, but I will get into that kind of a cosplay with the wings and everything, because she's just, holy cow. That is such a cool character design. So for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about this bad boy. We are talking about Andy Smith Kor-Drath. Yes. Why don't you tell us about the story?
The story is basically Kor-Drath belongs to a tribe called the Red Lions tribe. And in this world that we're building, there's 11 different tribes in this specific area. And we're focusing on 3. So the Red Lions, the Anacondas, and the Black Eagle. Adryana, who you dressed as, is from the Black Eagles. And then on the 2-page spread above that, that was the Anacondas. These are the Anaconda tribe here. Every tribe has a tribal tattoo. So you can signify the red lines easy because they all have the same red line tattoo, but it might be on a different part of their body. It doesn't have to be on the chest like Kor-Drath, whatever. So anyhow, back to the story. Adryana and Kor-Drath are basically boyfriend, girlfriend. They're lovers. And that's fine. Those 2 tribes get along, so it's all copacetic there. But
they're like, sure.
Yeah, the Anaconda tribe, not so much. They don't get along. And what happens is, in that 2-page spread up top, they were just out on the Red Lion tribe, Kor-Drath's tribe, was just out on a hunting party to basically, get food and whatnot, and they were ambushed. However, later in the story, somebody slaughters basically all the Anaconda tribe and brings them back as the undead and sicks them upon the Red Lion tribe. And while that happens, while that's happening, Kor-Drath and Adryana are actually out doing something for his tribe. And when they return, they see that his whole tribe has been slaughtered. So this is what sets everything in motion for Kor-Drath to try and figure out who did this and why they did it. Now, there is a big bad named the Necronite, who his character designs on the page as well. And his I guess, partner in crime or second in command is Lilith. She's a succubus, so she can shapeshift and whatnot. And yes.
Gosh, I want that boot. It's just such a cool design. It's like it's all the way up to her hip, but it's fine.
Thank you. And so it's not a big spoiler. They're the ones behind who set who ravaged the Anaconda tribe and set them undead wise on to slaughter the Red Lion tribe. But obviously Kor-Drath doesn't know that. So this is what he has to find out. That's why it's Kor-Drath the Reckoning, because, he's on a mission for vengeance for who did this. And then he finds out throughout the story, there's definitely more at play into regards what the Necronite's looking for. Because the Necronite it's not just, hey, I got nothing better to do. Let's just slaughter this tribe. No, the Necronite's looking for something specific that'll gain him more power. But Kor-Drath has no idea about that. That's not something he'll find out. But in the beginning, with everything going on, he has no clue. So they end up, after that all happens, him and Adryana end up going back to the Black Eagles tribe, which her tribe, there's magic in the book, and her tribe is more about magic and stuff. So she's an actual sorceress and can project spells and do stuff like that. Whereas with these tattoos, there does come a magic from them, which was seen on page 5, which is in black and white. And there we go. And basically, those are the 2 leaders in the top panel of the Red Lions and Anaconda. And it's hard to see, but the leader of the Red Lions actually has his tattoo on his wrist that's facing us. I mean, it looks a little... You can't see it that well there, but it's on a previous page. Anyhow, so you can see the magic, which comes with being older and wiser and such. So it just comes with age. So it's not like all these guys that are fighting in the background and stuff can be like, I don't need to fight. Red line, go attack. No.
Right.
They're not there yet. So... So basically, it's a good way. We were talking to Bud Root, and Bud was the artist that did that Lilith cover you showed.
Yeah.
And Bud was like, man, we were telling him the whole story on a car ride to a convention. And he was like, dude, this sounds like Conan dropped into Game of Thrones. And Dennis and I were like, that's pretty good. We're going to use that. That's a nice little tight elevator thing going. If you like Conan and you like Game of Thrones, imagine Conan being dumped into a Game of Thrones type world.
You know what this reminded me of as you were talking about like the red lions and the anacondas and all of that? I went straight back to like old school 90s Legends of the Hidden Temple.
See, now here's the funny thing about this is, so there's also Dungeons and Dragons aspects to this. Right. And that's where Dennis comes in, because Dennis and I are the same age. So like I said, yesterday was my birthday. I got no problem saying I'm a young svelte 53.
Hold on, you're 53?
Yeah.
No! Oh
yeah,
my
see,
God.
I say 25 and people believe it. I say 53 and they're like, get out of here.
More believable than 53. Holy shit, dude.
I'm a 53, and Dennis will hit it. Dennis hits it in a little, what are we at now? We're November 6th. So December 10th, he turns 53.
Wow.
So he's been playing D&D since version 1. Right?
Holy shit.
And he's a dungeon master. He's played every edition. He has all the editions. The dude knows his D&D. After he got into that, now this is kind of like if Dennis was here, so I can kind of fill his background.
Yeah.
After that, he just got into Pathfinder and fantasy novels, all this stuff. And he likes writing short stories. So that's one reason I want to bring him in on this project, because I knew that background and I knew I want to do a barbarian type thing, but not just straight, Conan. Right. So that's what he brings to the table, is all that knowledge. So one of the things we're doing with this is as of right now, the 2 stretch goals that are unlocked are the character cards for Kor-Drath and Adryana, and they're actually SRD 5th edition compatible, so you can actually play them in other role-playing games.
Sweet.
So it has that crossover, so if you are a gamer, but you've never read a graphic novel before or comic or whatever, you might be like, oh, hell, I'll give this a shot just because I could actually play these characters.
Yeah.
So that's one of the big things. But going back to what you said about the 90s, and that my brain is just so...
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
That's it. I've never heard of it. And the thing is, I played D&D when I was a kid too. Like I said, Dennis and I are basically the same age. I probably played whatever the first edition as well. But where he kept going with it, since I was big into art and wanting to draw comics, I focused over there,
Well, so just to give you a teeny tiny glimpse into it. So Legends of the Hidden Temple, it was like a game show type thing that was on Nickelodeon. Oh, okay. But it was 2-person teams, and they had to solve riddles and puzzles. But all of the teams, it was like the green monkeys or the silver anacondas or whatever. I can't even remember what they all were, but it was a color and animal. And
cool.
But it wasn't like animals that I would have selected. They're all things that were like potentially found in like the rainforest or whatever, because this was supposed to be like an Aztec type temple that they had to go through. Right. And so it's just really funny to hear. You're like, oh yeah, the red lions. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's like that. Like they're all banding together to try and, have their tribe be on top. And like, that's pretty much where the similarity ends. But it's just one of those things that kind of hits like, oh, that's kind of hitting on a little bit of that nostalgia. Plus it's some Conan, plus it's some Xena. Like, you're getting a lot of all of those 90s kind of things that I grew up with were super pivotal when I was a kid. And so it's neat to see something that hits that, but doesn't feel, I guess, as I don't want to say old, but I don't know how else to put it. Like Conan is something that has been around for a really long time. Xena was around for a really long time. They've been redone in their own ways, and those stories have been kind of rehashed multiple times in their own ways. But this doesn't feel as railroady, I guess, as some of the other ones have in the past, where it was, well, it's a Conan inspired story, so it's going to follow this exact kind of trope, and he's gonna find a baddie and he's gonna try to defeat it, and then he's gonna have a down moment, and then he's gonna win, because that's usually how Conan went. Like he'd have a bit of a stumble, and you were like, oh no, is Conan gonna do it? And you're like, it's his show, of course he's gonna do it. Like, how is he not gonna do it? It's the same thing with Xena. You were like, oh no, she's in a dungeon. Like, how many times has she gotten out of a dungeon? She's gonna be like, give her a minute. She just needs to think.
She died that time. I think she died like 3 times.
She didn't stay dead, did she? Right. Did she die, or did Gabriella?
There was no A at the end of that.
Or Gabrielle, whatever the fuck. Look,
oh my god, you fucking heathen.
Oh, how dare you.
I haven't seen this show since it was on. The fact that I could pull any name out was amazing. Okay, let's just be happy that I remembered anything, kind of.
Callisto did nothing wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I like the character designs that you have here, just because they're so like perfect for the feel. Like, well, yeah.
And thank you so much for that. It's funny because one of the things that Dennis likes about me not being totally in that world that he's in is when he says, there's going to be this character, in the book. He gets, and he'll often say on a live stream, people that are in the D&D world and all that stuff, if he says, a specific type of giant or whatever, they might get a certain visual in their head because of things they've seen in the D&D world and stuff. Right. Where since I haven't, what I put down, he's like, oh, I never thought of that. That's really cool because I'm not. And like, if you look at what Kor-Drath wears compared to what Adryana wears, that one of the reasons I wanted to have a rather big difference between the two characters and what they wear is, besides the fact they're from two different tribes, I wasn't just thinking like, well, it's a barbarian world. Even if she's from a different tribe, she's going to wear type, a loincloth type fur or whatever. And I was like, no, I want to have her be totally different, which will reflect when we go to the Black Eagles tribe and see it in the book with what everybody wears. They'll all have, something, similar. So if you were to look at like a group of the Red Lions tribe and a group of, the Black Eagles tribe, you would definitely look at it and be like, oh yeah, those are two totally different, peoples,
Right.
And that's one thing I really want to try and get across.
It's also really fitting because of the names, right? So like, obviously, if you're picking an animal to be kind of like your mascot for what you do, you're talking lion, something that's a lot more savage, that's, right. a lot less flamboyant because, we're getting into the thick of it and we're the kings of the jungle kind of thing. Like,
right.
Them wearing more, maybe like furs and minimal armor and stuff, and right. just really kind of focusing on being ripped. That makes a lot of sense because of their tribe. But then when you talk about, oh, we've got the, the Black Raven, and it's like, well, that's fucking elegant. That's all right. about like this beauty and this elegance and this incredible intellect and everything like that. And so having somebody be that and the way that she's dressed, where it kind of exudes that elegance, and then on top of that, she's more of a magic user and he's right. more of a brute force, so exactly. that it makes even more sense as to why she would have a cape or anything. Like that kind of stuff has a lot of significance when she's battling, because it's like, I know I'm not as strong. I know I'm not carrying as big of weapons that can do as much damage as maybe what the Red Lions are carrying, but I can get away with, I've got a cape that helps kind of obscure what I do have.
Sure.
And where my position exactly is, and it can help while I'm charging up stuff to make it more difficult for you to see what I'm doing until it's too late. So all of that makes a lot more sense in the way that the characters go. And then of course, you've got your big baddies over here with Necronite and Lilith, and obviously their whole aesthetic is fear-based. Like I'm trying to scare the shit out of you, and so whatever looks terrifying and like, but why though? Like that's what I'm gonna wear.
Right.
And so I like that it's psychologically it makes sense based on how each of those tribes would be carrying themselves and kind of what you would assume their values would be based on the mascot that the tribe kind of took.
Right.
So I sorry, I got nerdy about it, but I really like when people think it through like that.
That's exactly it. I mean, it even goes down to the architecture in the tribal encampments as well, right. Because the Red Lions are more nomadic, so their encampment, when I show it, will be more, for lack of a better word, tents and stuff like that can be taken down and moved. Compared to the Black Eagles, they're pretty set in, so theirs would be stone and stuff like that because they're not moving around all the time. And it's not like the Red Lions are like, it's been a week, let's go. But, it might be like, it's been, months, whatever, the weather's getting a little antsy out here. Let's shoot over a little farther away or something.
Right. Well, and not to mention, I mean, if they're hunting and everything, after a while, you hunt a land dry, you have to move on. And not every time you make camp, it's not going to be as prosperous as the time before.
Right.
And so it would make sense that it would be like, well, rather than setting up roots, having a more nomadic kind of lifestyle for that kind of a group of people, it also plays into why they would pick a lion, why they would be so buff, why they would wear so little. Because if I got to carry half a camp, my ass is not going to load myself up with a bunch of, armor and shit. Like, no, I'm already carrying like 5 tents. Fuck that. Like, I'm
going to need a dozen bags of holding.
Well, what's funny is I read some Red Sonja stuff as a kid. I was more into reading Tarzan and Conan, and I'm just talking comics. I didn't really read any of the only novels I read as a kid were the Tarzan ones. I've never read a Conan novel. But I did, I read the comics because I like the artwork and whatnot. And it was funny with Red Sonja. I never really thought like, why she just wear chainmail like that? That's not very, very good for protecting yourself. And then, I'm looking over at my bookshelf. Roy Thomas came back and did this new book and, through Dynamite with Red Sonja. And it was explained why she just wears that. And it makes total sense. And the basic gist is, and it was a longer explanation, but the basic gist is when people see her and they realize that she basically has her weapons and she's just wearing a chainmail bikini, it'll almost make them think twice because it's like, she's got to be pretty badass if she's rolling up on me.
Like, you're
just
awful
like
confident.
That. Right. You're right. It's projecting a confidence like, whoa, this chick's rolling up on like 10 dudes and that's all she's wearing and she's swinging a sword.
Yeah.
We might want to step back and rethink this. Either that's a really good bluff or she's going to kill us, And I was like, that makes total sense. So like, if the Red Lions, kind of like what you're saying, they are definitely more of the standard type barbarians where now, if you really, and I know the 2-page spread's kind of small to see on Indiegogo, but if you were to look at it and look at the different ones, I think there's some that do have like a shirt type thing on or whatever. I mean, there's some guys that have, not that one, the 2-page spread, because that was a little Kor-Drath back there.
Yeah.
See, it's hard to tell, but like I'm pointing to the screen like you can actually see it.
There's a couple of shirts.
There's a couple dudes that have shirts, and then when I was talking to the colorist, and even before the colorist, I was telling Dennis, for the anacondas, I want them to be, I think they need to be paler and flesh tone. One, to separate them from the other guys, but two, because it's a snake type thing. I just think that is cooler.
Well, and if you're really going to think about it, like, you could very easily explain that with whatever living conditions they choose. The reason that Kor-Drath and the Red Lions are tanner is because they're out there. They're out in the sun. They're out in the wilderness. They're, the same reason why they wouldn't wear a whole lot is because it's like, I mean, it doesn't look like it's particularly cold where they are. I'm going to assume that they probably don't wear a lot unless they have to, unless it ends up like it's fucking frigid. Now I'm going to wear something, but
if it were to get really cold, obviously they would have pelts or whatever, the red lines, something to wear like that. I mean, the one reason, and like you said, small, but in the second panel, that's the leader impaling that dude, and he has a cloak and stuff, and he also has gold gauntlets and a bigger, thicker belt, and he's obviously an older guy and stuff.
And I mean, he's the leader, so hey, you're probably not the one that's carrying the brunt of everything when you guys move anyway, and so you can afford to be a little bit more garish to show your stature and your status within everybody,
right?
But yeah, I really like the detail that you've got with all of these characters and these tribes, and I do love that you did the different skin tone, with making some of them look pale, almost like undead, kind of ashy, coloring, because it really makes me think of when you have snakes and boa constrictors and everything, and they always have like that moment where they're shedding skin, and it's they have that like kind of dusty look to them, and I like that you kind of reflected that.
Ashy,
yes, ashy.
You know what? I'm just going to use
upset
snakes.
About that.
Yeah, I'm going to use snakes for my armor now.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I just think it's really neat. And also, snakes they don't stay out in the open, because that's usually how they get killed if they were to, because either humans are going to see them and be worried and kill them, or, birds of prey love snakes. So snakes tend to hide in bushes, trees, places where there's a lot less sun, and they strike from cover. And so having all of these people not be as tan, it makes sense. Like, you would strike from cover just like a snake does. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
It's
really funny. I work. I've said this on other live streams. I might have said it in one of the past ones with you. My office is above our garage. So I go down, a set of steps, and then at the bottom there's a little landing, and then I turn and go down like 4 more steps. And it was like, I don't know, 2 months ago now. I opened the door to go down the steps, and on the landing I had a box, because I was spray painting something inside the box. So the box was in the corner against the landing, and behind the box, about 2.5 feet up the wall, I'm like, what is that? That's a snake. And I was like, I don't know anything about snakes, like nothing. All I saw was this thing was from behind the box. It was black, and it was about 2.5 feet up the wall, and not the tail was hanging. I mean, the tail was still behind the box and wrapped around and all this crap. And I'm like, well, this is difficult. What do I do? So I actually, long story short, I called 311, which is just garbage and water and non-police emergency. And I said, look, this is what's going on. And she goes, well, is it in your house? And I said, no, it's in my garage. And she's like, is your garage attached to your house? And I said, no, it's a separate building. She goes, well, we can't send animal rescue out unless it's in your house.
Yes, whatever. It's in my house.
And at that point it was already out. Oh my God, it just made it to the house.
Yep,
oh my gosh, it went right through the front door.
Holy crap,
children.
It's in my house. No, so what I did was I was like,
eating my dog.
No, I honestly, I was like, all right. So I figured, you know what? I'll give this a shot. I'm not going to obviously call 911, but I know where the fire department is. So I looked up just their local phone number, And I called the fire department, reception, whoever, picks up. And they're like, this is so-and-so fire department. What can we do for you? And I told them, I said, look, I don't know if you guys handle anything like this, and I told them where the snake was, ran through the whole story like I did with you. I said, I would be glad to, tip you guys or whatever.
Make a donation.
Make a donation. I think I said, whatever.
A fireball coming up.
And they were like, we got. I'll send some guys out. So it was dumb because the whole, lop their head off is fine. Except I've got nothing in my office I can use. I've got an X-Acto knife, which means getting really close. To a snake that I don't know what type of snake it is. So anyhow, so the guys.
Shears?
Well, I'm in my office though. I don't have those here. I would have to walk down and walk past the snake to go get them, and I don't know how fast it is. I don't know. I don't know anything about snakes.
Shae keeps a machete within 10 feet of her at all times.
So, so they came out, and I told the person on the phone, I said, let them know, go through the fence. There's a side door in the garage, open that, and I'll hear them, and then, whatever. So they did, and I was sitting at the top of the steps, and I hear them. I'm like, yeah, I'm over here, and they come around, and the dude looked at it, and he had, he just had his big gloves on, and he just went in and grabbed it, and it was, I can't remember what type it was, but it was non-venomous. So he's like, what do you want? He's like, no, it wasn't a garden snake, because I don't think they're black. Yeah, no, it was a good 3 feet long. I want to say just simple name of black snake, but I don't know. Anyhow, it was non-venomous. Point is,
right.
He's like, "What do you want me to do with it?" And I said, "Oh, I don't care." I said, "I don't want you to kill
a black
said,
rat snake."
Yeah, that sounds right. If it's yeah,
it's about the size and the color.
Yeah, and it's non-venomous. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, this is just I think it was a black rat snake. He goes, yeah, they're good for killing bugs or whatever. I said, well, just chuck it in the back corner of my yard. So this is hysterical. He walks through the back corner, and we have a fenced-in yard because we used to have a dog. He throws it over the fence. And I'm like, well, I didn't mean for you to... I didn't say anything, but I was like, well, I didn't mean for you to throw it in my neighbor's yard, but whatever.
You're like, you know what? He pissed me off the other week anyway. It's fine. It'll be fine.
Well, then it was funny because like a few days later, I'm cutting the grass and I'm going up along the side of the fence. And I look down and I have a riding lawnmower and I look down. And I literally see the snake, and it had to be the same one, just scurrying along the side of the fence. I'm like, what's up, dude?
It's like, sup, dude?
You can thank me for not killing you or having them kill you.
Then you steer the riding lawnmower at him.
No.
Oh, don't do that.
But here's the thing. Now I know what type it is. Now I know if I see it again, I'll just get some nice thick gloves. Because venomous or not, I'll wear thick gloves. Pick them up, and let them loose. So.
Well, look, as somebody who grew up loving snakes.
Like, I don't hate them.
No, I loved that. Like, my grandparents had a cabin up in the Rockies, and I used to go up there and catch water snakes. But I would catch, I didn't catch, a water snake. I had a picture of me when I was probably 6 or 7, and I had my little fists, just as many snakes as my little hands could hold. My brother and my dad were catching them and bringing them to me, and I was adding to them. And I will say, I love snakes. I think I've always loved them. I thought they were super cool. It doesn't matter if they're venomous or not. If they decide that they want to bite you, it still fucking hurts. Because after holding about 40 of them as a 6-year-old, and they, water snakes, their first defense mechanism is to poop and then curl around you to rub their poop on you. Ew. To make you go, ew, that's
gross. Is it really?
Them. It is. Oh. It's one of their first defense mechanisms. So they just cover you in poop, and it's disgusting. Oh. But when that didn't work, one of them was like, don't worry, guys, I got this, and bit me. and he bit me, and I went, ow, and threw them all up in the air. And it literally rained water snakes. They all came back to the ground and then just started making a break for the creek. And I ended up catching one, and I think it was the one that bit me because it tried to bite me a second time. And my dad taught me, if you're gonna hold a snake, hold it at the base of its neck.
Right.
And if you just hold it, so if it opens its head, its mouth and everything, it can actually get to you. So I just ended up holding it like this, and it was like, just like super mad at me.
Well,
and I was like, no, don't bite.
That's what the guy did. He pinched him right on the side, right beneath his head, and then just grabbed obviously the tail, and that was that. But like, I've gone to a couple conventions, comic conventions, where they'll have like in the back corner, like because kids love snakes and all that too, so have reptile whatever show up, and they'll have anaconda or pythons, whatever they are, wrapped around so you can pet them. I love touching them. I love it. But if I don't know what it is, forget it.
No, that's fair considering that there are a plethora of solid black snakes that are really bad.
Sure.
I don't think you did the wrong thing.
Oh no. Hey, look, I got no problem. People could be like, you wuss or whatever. Be like, whatever, dude. Yeah. I'm all good. Call me whatever you want.
I grew up in Utah, so I grew up with a good knowledge of quite a variety of snakes, because anytime you go out into the desert, like, some weird shit can find you. Like, coming across an actual rattlesnake, terrifying. Don't recommend it at all, because the second you hear that, you're like, oh shit, where is it? You're like, where is it? Where is it? It's pissed. I'm too close to it, wherever it is. How do I step away from it? Like, so not fun. But it only have introduced first. Yeah. Nice.
See, now here, when I first read that, I read it in my peripheral vision. I thought you typed manly snakes, and I was going to go, nice one. But you just said many, so
that was the implication, but I didn't have to say it.
Got it.
Yeah. See,
nice one.
Send Andy your snakes.
Send them over.
He wants to meet them all. See, and what Luke said here, this is exactly what I was thinking: is water moccasins are black.
Right, and I used to live in Florida,
and very
so
mean.
That's why I said this.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so when we lived in Florida, we had a pool at the house, and I was going to take my daughter, who was only like a year and, she was a year and a few months at the time, swimming. And we look out the pool, and across the pool, thank God, there was a black snake,
Nope.
And I was like, not going near that. Now that one, I think we ended up, because where it was, I could easily walk into the garage and get a shovel. That one might have been the old shovel to the back of the head. And you're out of here, pal. But I know Art Taber said before, since he's moved to Texas, he's taken a few out. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't even know if they're poisonous. He goes, I don't care. If I see a snake, I'm getting a shovel and it's gone.
Oh, poor Art. I mean, to be fair, a lot of them in Texas, though.
Yeah, well, it's Texas, so.
I mean, like Texas, New Mexico, southern Utah, Arizona, those are the kind of snakes that typically, if they're still living out in those climates, they're pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Like,
to be fair to Art, he's out gardening a lot bent over with his butt uncovered. So I feel like he can't afford to take chances.
It's true. It is. He likes to garden. Snake.
He likes to garden with his pants split. Where's Peyton?
That's right.
we need the visual representation from Peyton. Oh my gosh.
That's true.
After the Garden of Eden. That's horrible.
He's a snake slaying champion.
All right.
So anyhow.
So I saw that you have t-shirts, which makes me super excited.
I do.
Are they screen print?
Well, that's a good question. Most of us use the same company, which is St. Clair's. That's who does Ethan's shirts. That's who told us about the company, was Ethan. Mm-hmm. So, honestly, I guess. I mean,
did he switch from crypto?
What?
He used to use crypto fashion.
I mean, maybe he still does for some stuff. I don't know if he does all his stuff. I know t-shirt wise, it's St. Clair, but
he must have switched.
It could be for the ones that have the huge prints on them that he does with like tons of colors. He might use somebody else, because like, so the top shirt
for those.
Oh, okay. So like the top shirt is obviously it's St. Clair's. It's just the 4-color, so and they did a fantastic job. And the thing I like about that company is You just send them the assets, and kind of direction-wise, I was just like, yeah, it's something kind of heavy metal. That was it for the direction. I had no idea that he was going to like do the logo on white and then do like gray tones and stuff, because he presents a mock-up, and I was like, wow, that is not what I expected, but that is awesome. So I said, go move forward with it. And then, this is a little different from the mock-up, but, he nailed it. And then people were asking about the Bud Root cover. So that one is more. That's, like 11 colors on the shirt. Yeah. So, but, he did a great job with it. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, that looks really cool. It's the only reason that I ask about the screen print versus, so you have screen print, you have sublimation, you have direct to garment, which are the main prints. Some of them hold up better than others. And one thing that I've noticed, and I'm really, because this looks like very, very good quality, this one specifically, the Bud Root art.
Yeah.
I'm praying that it is that it's more direct to garment than screen print, because there's a lot of them, especially with screen printing, they have a tendency to crack after washing a couple of times. And if I got this and then it cracked, I think I would be so sad. Because
I'm going to say it's probably not screen print, because I've made a couple shirts just for myself well, I'm not wearing one now, but of like other things that I went with, T Public. And well, the Dennis and Andy show shirt, we have a shirt on T Public, and it's simple, it's all flat color and stuff. It probably is screen print, because I've had I've got a few of them.
Screen print.
Yeah, so that's screen print. 'Cause I've got a few, and they're over a year old, and I've noticed some cracking on one. I don't think anybody's ever. I've seen Ethan's in person at a show with fans wearing them and stuff, and they just look fantastic, and just the quality of the shirt, the softness of it and everything. They do like custom labels as well, which I think is really cool.
They do like water bottles and mugs and everything too.
Yeah, they do a bunch of different stuff.
I just went to their site.
They do beanies as well. So
We'll talk a little. I got ideas, but
cool.
if anyone is shocked at all that Shae has ideas when it came to merch, then obviously you've not watched us very long.
Yeah.
All right, so stretch goals for 50K. We got the Kor-Drath character.
Yep, and like I said, all those stats on the back are totally playable with awesome. SRD 5th edition. I told Dennis originally, I said, I just want to do a 7x10 character card, but instead of nothing on the back, I want to do stats, but I want to make it different than, in First Man, I did the stats like the Marvel Universe that I grew up with. And since this is totally different, I said, I want to do something cool with the stats. And he goes, dude, what if I make it so you can actually play him in a role-playing game? And I was like, you can do that? And he's like, of course. I was like, you just...
It's like, I'm a DM. I can do anything.
I said, you do whatever you need to do that. And he did. So the
awesome.
First two stretch goals are Kor-Drath and Adryana as playable characters. Nice print on the front, stats on the back. And then when we hit 70,000, and even I know how important maps are in this type of stuff. So I was like, we should do a map. And he's like, I'll take care of that. I was like, good, 'cause I have no idea. I mean, like, well, here's the difference. I shouldn't say I have no idea. I guess what I have is like, my first thought was, I guess I would draw it and then I'd color it in Photoshop, blah, blah, blah. He goes, no, let me take care of it. I was like, all right, you take care of it. So
that sounds good.
He created the map. So that's cool. And it's not, I keep meaning to put it up there, but the 80,000 stretch goal is the Lilith character card. So she's playable and stuff. So
awesome.
Which is done. I just haven't put it up.
Obviously, we've got more stretch goals to come.
Yeah.
And then you've got some awesome add-ons. So people who missed out on First Man, first off, shame on you.
That's right.
I don't know why you missed out.
I know.
You shouldn't have.
Yes, so you should buy your way out of the shame by backing.
I painted myself up like First Man Damage.
You did. It was fantastic.
I
you did
remember.
You did the. I know you should. You did the expression and everything. It was freaking fantastic.
Thank you. And it was painted on.
I mean, every
hair.
time. That's why I love coming on here because you do something. I'll be honest. I didn't expect anything today because I'm like, wow, this is really last minute.
Look, Andy, I have never done a show and not done a cosplay ever since we first started doing the cosplays. Like the first couple of shows, I didn't really have a cosplay specific to the comic. Sure. Once I did that first cosplay that was specific to the comic, from then on, I have never done a Red Valkyrie Presents where I wasn't in costume. Now, some of them have been shit, and some of them have fallen apart. And that one, I couldn't wear because it was still drying, and it was getting me high. So I had to hold it up instead of wear it because, like, I love y'all, but I'm not killing all my brain cells for this show. But yeah.
So what I'm hearing is when somebody does a book, because I would have to assume this is in public domain, when somebody does a book literally titled Adam and Eve, your cosplay would be rather simple.
Or a lot more complicated.
Or a lot
Fig
more
leaf
complicated.
and
That's what I'm talking
some
about.
red hair extensions.
See, if we did that, if it was Adam and Eve and I was playing Adam, I'd just no shirt, I'm good to go. Yeah. So
it's a lot more fun when you're a female and have to be like,
I know.
Hair extensions.
So, it's like
Pasties.
For that one, you're just like, hey, the it's a tight close up of Shae. What's going on?
Close.
It's a big, she's like framed like this.
You can see the inner halves of her eyes and the bridge of her nose, and that is all.
And she might do.
That's all you get.
Might do like a black wig, just so it's or brown hair. And it's that
either that or you get the witness protection blur.
Right. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh no, I'll paint it on a piece of like poster board and just put it right across. So it's just
that would be awesome.
Painted, be like, so what's up? This is Eve. Just be like, just hope nothing moves.
No, you don't have to paint. Just take a selfie and then take it into Photoshop and digitize the crap out of it with filters and stuff, and then print it out on like 11x17 paper and just wrap and go, wow.
Oh my gosh, I could just print it out on like one of the bikini tops that we have on our store.
There you go.
That's terrible, Andy. What
that would be hilarious.
Ideas? It would be hilarious. It'll probably happen at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah. So anyhow, Intrepid Ashcan, little 5x7.
Okay.
Literally, it's 8 pages, and that includes the cover. So it's 7 pages of a short little story that. It was something I drew back when I was working with Bart Sears for Ominous Press back in the 90s, and it was a book I was supposed to draw, but it never came to fruition, so it's colored up, and I asked him if we could do a little ashcan of it, and he's like, go ahead. So
very cool.
I hate doing stuff that never sees print. I mean, I've done a few things for Marvel and DC like that, but obviously I can't print that stuff. So...
Yeah, it's always such a shame too.
I mean, you could. What are they going to do?
I could. What? Without dropping anybody's names, I'll do this. A friend of mine wrote a story that was drawn, penciled, inked, colored, and then at that point, it was just a one-issue thing. So it was a self-contained story for one of the 2 companies, and they said, "We're not going to do it." And he had the files for the whole thing. So he was like, and this was last year, I think he might have lettered it himself. And he actually went to a printer and printed it up and just takes it to shows. So it's not advertised or anything. He just takes it to shows and he sells it. He sent me one. It's great. I'm like, this is so cool. I cannot believe DC wouldn't print this. And the only thing I told him, and I know why I didn't do it, the cover, I don't know if I'm looking at it right now. I don't know if the cover was an actual cover for it. Like, I don't know if they actually commissioned a cover before they killed it, or if it was just a pinup that him, because Keith Champagne's, I dropped the guy's name. Well, he's an inker as well. So you might be able to figure it out. Oops. So anyhow, I meant to say he's a writer and inker as well. So anyhow, because he also inked the interior of the stuff over the penciler. So anyhow, there's no logo or anything on it. So when it's on his table, it's just like, oh, what is this? And then he can explain it. So there's no logo on it. And I did tell him when he sent, I said, dude, this is so cool. I really wish you would have put the logo on it to make it look like a real cover. And he's like, no. He's like, I'm pushing it as it is just by getting these things printed up. I mean, he is and he's not, 'cause he's only selling them at shows and whatever. Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm not even drunk. What the Jesus?
Must be all the snake venom.
It's all that snake venom.
I can't wait. We're gonna have to get you on our Friday night chill stream and let you get a little drunk, and let's see what kind of juice we get then.
I forget, what time do you do that? I always forget.
We open it up to everybody at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that'd be cool. I mean,
it goes until
whenever. Yeah, we'll have to. Well, no, we'll definitely have to try that, because then you can meet. If you're fine with Dennis, you can meet Dennis, and he could.
Yeah.
I tell him I go grab a beer out of your fridge. I'll grab something out of mine, and that'd be fun.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah. Look at Death Metal Hero. He's like, yeah, come drink with us, Andy.
I got no problem with that. So.
I mean, I have my Fall Hall Angry Orchard sitting in the fridge, and we didn't stream this last Friday, so I'm due for.
I like the seasonal stuff. So.
Well, and this one's really good. They have an apple pie one that literally tastes like apple pie with melted ice cream. It's delicious.
Really?
It is so good.
Wow.
It is so good.
So my daughter works at, and I assume these stores are everywhere. She works at World Market. I assume that's, you know what it is.
I think so, yeah.
And we were in there yesterday. There was something for employees where, they got a bigger discount than regular. So they had this stout. Now, I'm not big into like stouts and dark beers, but this one supposedly is the flavor of a Reese's peanut butter cup. It's chocolate and peanut butter. So they didn't say Reese's because they can't, but they had a picture of basically a generic one on the thing cut in half and, peanut butter, all that. And I almost got it. And I actually sent a picture of it to Dennis because he loves dark beer. And I said, I don't want to buy a 6-pack, drink one and be like, this is garbage. I'm throwing the rest away. Is this something you would drink? And he's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, okay. Because I don't want to waste it.
Right. So, no, I totally understand that. And Snarks are on hush.
So, but it's funny because when I am on a stream, whether it be like the professionals or the King show on a Monday, and it's like, we're going to do shots or whatever. I don't have a fridge up here or anything like that. I'm never prepared.
Just drink it warm like Shae. And
then I can't do warm beer. But the thing you can drink warm is, whiskey and scotch and bourbon and stuff. And I always forget. I'm looking at it. I have a football-shaped decanter full of scotch that I got when we were on vacation. And, that you can keep at room temperature and stuff. And I always forget about it until I'm off stream when I'm walking out. And I look over and I go, damn it.
I could have drank this whole time.
I could easily just pour that and sip it slow. So
yeah.
I just saw this.
I already told Snarks to hush about that. So Andy, since you don't know that story, Shae has taken it a lot easier on drinking after a incredibly rough night where for some reason, I thought it would be a good idea to do straight vodka shots. And it was, to be fair, it was a very good vodka because it was one of the botanicals ones. So it was like rose and grapefruit and it was delicious. But I took shots until I probably had I want to say that there were 3 shots left in that bottle.
Yeah, but you know what Dale Keown did on his first live stream.
I have heard. I have yet to talk to Dale Keown, so I don't actually know a lot about him.
He was Dale on his very first live stream. He apparently was up for the previous 20-some hours working. He decided to do his first live stream. He was doing shots of vodka, and he ended up passing out. And it went for 6 hours. And for 4 of those hours, people were just watching him passed out. I mean, I tried calling him. I know other people tried calling or texting him just to go, dude. Nothing. Then he finally woke up and whatever.
This is the benefit of having a co-host. Apparently, because this is the only time I've only ever done this I think this was the first time that I actually literally blacked out. I've never blacked out before. And this was like only a few months ago.
Oh my God. No. Wow. Yeah.
I drank so much. Sai was trying to get me to switch to water, and I was wonderfully drunk and not listening. And then at some point I went, "Huh," and so I was like, "Thanks everybody, gotta go." Like ended the stream outright. There was no sign-ups or anything. And then I proceeded to throw up all over my floor after tripping. So I had I don't know if you have seen those like headsets that you can wear to bed that like have like the soft cup. So I had that on, and it's this little like headband, and it had a little
Snarticon knows the
my
lore.
backpack is fine. It had a little control box on the front, and I got that connected to my phone, so I was still talking with Sai. And then I tripped and fell, and my phone went flying, and I was too drunk to realize I was falling, so I didn't catch myself, so I caught my face on the floor.
Face planted.
Really bad. And then while I was trying to find Sai, because I was really confused as to why I could hear Sai, but I didn't have anything in my hand, so I was like, "But where's my phone? Why can I hear you?" So I was like, "You're getting closer, honey. You just keep coming this way. No, now you're getting farther away. You gotta come closer to me," like trying to help me find my phone. Out of nowhere, I was like, "Oh, I don't feel good." Blah! Just all over my floor and backpack. And it was my most expensive backpack. It was my most expensive backpack.
You know, I've blacked out a few times, but I can honestly say it was in my 20s. It hasn't been since then.
This is the only time.
And
this is where I pushed my limit too far.
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, everybody that's drank has thrown up, and even I've had food poisoning and thrown up, which is obviously a lot worse. I don't like the way. I do not like throwing up. So I will never. I don't. I know my limits when it comes to how much I should drink.
I should not go past a half a bottle of vodka without.
Well, that's the thing. When I say I know my limits from the standpoint of beer. When it comes to the hard stuff, and even if somebody's like, vodka's not hard stuff, anything that's not beer is hard stuff for me because I don't drink it a lot.
Right.
I would only do maybe a couple shots and that's it. And because there's no way. I just don't want that feeling again.
Yeah.
I can still remember it, you know.
Well, the worst part is I ended the night thinking that because I felt sick, obviously, because I was. And so in my infinite wisdom, I need to sit in a hot bath to help settle my stomach while blackout drunk. So I drew a bath, and then my phone died. So Sai had no connection to me to know that I was okay, and then I woke up at 4 a.m. In a bathtub that I had been throwing up in for the past like 4 hours.
Cold
you
water.
were throwing up in a tub too. Oh god.
Yeah, cold water and barf.
Cold water and barf.
She marinated it.
I was going to say, yeah. Not only is the fact that it's now cold water, but just like, look, I can honestly say if my back's hurting or something sore, I got no problem taking a bath. In fact, the house we had in Florida had a nice jetted tub. That I do miss. But I tell you, 20 minutes in, if that water starts getting cold, I need to refresh that sucker. Let some out.
You need a bathtub with the heaters in it.
That'd be nice. But yeah. There's no cold. I don't,
I know, I'm the same way. It's simply the only reason that the water got cold is because I literally passed out.
Yeah.
And Sai was like, "Can you not pass out in something that you could drown in later?" I was like, "Sweetie, you don't understand. I'm 6'1", and my bathtub is a standard size.
Right, it's a bathtub.
So in order for me to drown, I'd have to actually try.
Right.
Like if my legs are out straight, I can't.
You're not. Yeah.
I'm not flexible enough to bend all the way over.
No. Well, even at my little height of 5'10" compared to you, if my legs are out straight, I'm good. So
yeah, and so it was just one of those things where I was like I even try at times when I'm like, if my shoulder's really hurting and I want to soak in a tub, I try to get so I can soak my shoulder, and the contortioning that I have to do to like get my shoulder underwater, I'm like, there's no way drunk me who Oh, that's disgusting.
Well, see, the thing is, so you know how they say that you can drown in 2 inches of water, you know?
You can, but you have to get face down into it
right,
first.
It's difficult, and it's true, you know, in my will, I need to have it say something like, if for some reason I actually died because I drowned in 2 inches of water, please tell everybody it was a full bathtub and I just slipped. You know, I just kind of, something happened. Because if you never want to read an obituary where it was like, and he drowned in 2 inches of water, because you're like, yeah, man, I can't feel sorry for you. You just had that coming.
Look, if I ever die, just tell everyone I died making porn with like 17. Never mind.
No. Terrible. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with you? Anyway, you know what?
Well, I like how they said, if I ever die. Well, no, you will.
You will eventually.
You know.
Cyborg. That's why.
The cyborg part, exactly.
Oh, that's right. So look, you've beat one out of the two things that everybody gets screwed with. That, but you still have taxes. Unless you've worked a way around that, you can tell me off stream.
I'm working on that.
To pay taxes.
I'm working on that $1.9 billion, and that.
No, I just bought my tickets. Nope.
Well, thank you for contributing. I appreciate it.
Oh, okay. You just got $10 out of me. Well, I tell you what. I tell you what. If you win, could you at least sweat me my $10 back so I feel good?
Sure.
That I didn't win. That's all I ask.
Well, I'm going to give you about $3.50.
That's terrible. All right. Stop it, Si. I'm trying to. We've been talking for an hour and 11 minutes because you know what it is, Andy? It's because we fucking miss you and we never get to have you on the channel just to chill.
I love chatting, yeah.
Like
I said, we'll do a Friday night.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You definitely got to come on Friday for sure. All right. Let's go over your perks because
sure.
You got 6 days left and you're getting close to that other stretch goal, the 70K. So let's see what we can do to get you there.
All right, so to get it all is kind of like it says. It's everything except for the throwback cover, the homage to Conan #1, because I did that after. But because it's discounted, if you were to add that cover on checkout, so you would get it all, you're still saving. So. Mm-hmm. So technically it's everything. But the nice thing that is included is there's a black and white version of Bud's cover that was only up for the first 24 hours, but it's still, in this bundle. That's the only way
to get it, yeah.
Right, unless I put it back up at some point. So that's that one. And that includes the oversized hardcover. It's like 88 pages, artist edition, which is all the black and white art scanned in full color. So you can see because I work traditional, there's no digital. So you can see all the gradations in ink and whiteout and pencil and all that stuff.
That's awesome. So, by the way, I love Snarktacon's tagline for you. If you don't want to end up drunk and dying in the bathtub, go back Kor-Drath today.
That's right. Because if I find out your address, something could happen. Dennis might show up.
Yeah.
He's 6'2", so he was
not a reason.
So he's just barely taller.
Yeah. He would never drown in the bathtub.
I'll wear my heels when I meet him.
There you go. You can buy us a beer, of course.
Nice.
If you've already backed and you don't want to tip Indiegogo, but you want to tip us, buy us a beer.
Don't pay Indiegogo $15.
That's right. Bullshit. Buy us a beer, and we'll and when everything's said and done, we'll live stream from a brewery here in town and drink some beer and whatnot. So.
Nice.
So if you want to see Andy and Dennis get shit-faced and potentially end up drunk in a bathtub later,
there you go.
Start hitting this beer one pretty heavy.
I don't know if we could fit in a bathtub together.
I'm hoping not together.
Sounds like a Twitch stream waiting to happen.
You could now, if it's over the summer, you could see us drink beer in my pool. So we could be on floaties.
Well, I mean, estimated shipping isn't until November.
Right.
Of next year, so a summer will come.
Right. So
we could make it a thing.
That's right.
Yes, exactly. Snarktacon, the Rini avatar adds to it for sure. Ooh, beanie.
Yes, you can get yourself a beanie.
Very nice.
And then, of course, all the different covers running down. And every cover is an add-on. So for some reason, you're like, if you're like, I like this cover and that cover, not a problem. Pick one here. When you're checking out, add on the next one or whatever, and boom, you're good to go.
Very cool. And I said this when we had, what? Oh my gosh. Snarks are gone. Killing me. I said this when we had Mark on, but I really appreciate that you've kept the covers, regardless of what the cover is, you've kept it the same price all the way through. That's something that personally I like as a backer, because I really hate it when it's, oh, well, if you want this really cool cover, I'm going to upcharge another $15 or something. It's like,
nah.
Well, depending on, especially when somebody's got a smaller book and then they're, selling it for 15, but you can get this other cover for 35. It's like, I could get 2 of your book.
Right.
and
right.
For one cover. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Stop it. You guys are terrible. Anyway, t-shirts. On to t-shirts. Oh my gosh.
Well, that can't be true. It's not gay if there's no eye contact.
You need extra eye contact or it's gay.
Oh.
You have to stare into the eyes.
Got it.
Mesmerized.
So yeah,
Shut up, Pale Rider.
there is the t-shirt, and there's each t-shirt's 30, but then for 35 it goes for the larger sizes, the 2X, the 4X. So
nice.
and that's, it's funny because when I do a new perk, I always send out for people that already backed it. Well, actually with the t-shirts, I think I did a secret tier. I can't remember. I'd have to look. There's so many because, when I added that cover right there, for people that might have wanted it as an add-on, but they already backed the book, I sent out a secret tier. So the shipping was a ton cheaper. So if you already, backed it, you could just,
right.
Use that secret tier. So,
right.
So I have so many secret tiers. It's not even funny to keep track of.
That's how it goes, especially when you're like talking with hosts and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I'll just make a tier for that real quick," and then you like make up a tier, you're like, "Here you go, you can just back that one there," and
right.
And like 5-6 shows later, you're like, "I've got like 30 secret tiers, and I don't know how that happened." Like, why are there so many?
Exactly.
Oh, all right.
And then the artist edition, which will go up to $80 once the campaign's over. Because I will overprint some for my website. So
you said this is a hardcover, so it's like...
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. And unfortunately, once, a tier gets picked up, you can't change it. So it's actually 88 pages, not 80. Because the book was 64, but now it's 76. So because the book is 76, and this artist edition is going to be the 76 plus all the covers and some character stuff, there's no way 80 would work. So
Right. That's awesome.
Wouldn't that be 92 or is it a bigger format? Because if you're adding
no, it's
12?
it's a larger format.
It's oversized.
It says 8.3 because that's literally the dimensions it would be, but it's pushing 8.5 by 11 3/4.
Nice.
And hardcover. So no, it can be 88.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the bundle is just the covers. And once again, it doesn't have cover E because it wasn't done yet, but you can add it on. So
okay.
And then there was a retailer thing, which is funny. I had one person ask, and I was like, "Sure, I'll make one for you." And he did it. So there you go.
Nice. You know what? It's nice. It's nice when people ask and actually back it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a deal. If for some reason you want 5 of my cover and the main cover and 5 of Bud's, it's still cheaper. So
yeah. All right. Ooh.
The figure sketch, 7x10. You pick the character, and there's 4 slots left. So.
Oh, I wish I had more money. Okay.
And then become a character. You actually, besides your own close-up, so you're in the book with a, in your own panel and stuff. You get 8 copies of the book. So, so 8 right there would be 200. So really, you're paying 200 to be a character. Because you're getting 8 copies. So you can hand them out to friends and family and go, I'm famous.
That is awesome. And then head sketch commit. Damn it. Why did I miss out on that? Fuck.
That is sold out. And then
you were passed out in a bathtub of your own vomit.
I probably was. Let's be real.
And then Bud Root's original art went in like the first half hour. So,
of course it did.
Yeah.
How could it not? Seriously.
Which he was very, very, very joyed to hear, because I did send him. Well, he will be getting obviously the money from that since it's his cover. So
that's really
he
cool.
He was thrilled to hear that. So.
Thrilled to hear he'll get paid.
Sold. Yes,
he was thrilled to hear it, and and when I said it sold in a half hour, I was like, yeah, and I should have probably charged a little more for you, but oh well.
9,000.
So.
Well, and that's the thing is, when people create covers, especially when you have somebody who's such a pull like Bud Root, if they don't give you a price, which most of the time they don't, because they're just wonderfully just like, oh, like whatever, it doesn't really matter, it's just whatever you feel. It's like, oh my gosh, like if you don't give me a price, then I'm going to set a price and then it's going to sell instantly, and then I'm going to be like, well, damn, I could have put it a little higher and got you a little bit more money.
Bud is very very, I don't know, shy, I guess you could say. I mean, he's kind of an introvert.
Humble.
And humble. And when I said modest, and I said, well, what do you want me to sell it for? He's like, oh, I don't know. And he gave me a number, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm selling it for more than that. So.
Well, it's the same thing. Like whenever I say anything to the guys when we do our auctions, and they're like, we'll start it at 0. And I was like, so we're starting it at 10. And I was like, and I'm going to say this right now. If it sells for 10, I'm going to find you and I'm going to hurt you. It needs to sell for much more than 10.
Right.
And it's just like, this is insane. But it's, you got to value your work, guys. You do good
that's
stuff.
just it. You're the one that puts the value on it and stuff. I remember talking to Aaron Lepresti, and this was back when we were working at CrossGen, and I don't generally sell my stuff. That's why you don't see any of the originals up there. And it's funny, I don't sell published stuff or stuff that's going to be published, but when I just draw stuff for fun, I've got no problem selling that.
Right.
So anyhow, Aaron had a reasoning. He's like, I have a lot of pages still, because I don't remember what the price was, but he said, I have a set price that I won't go below for a piece of original art, storytelling page. He goes, but then I also have a lot of, the talking head pages. He goes, those I don't even put out because I don't think they're worth that set price. And so I just hold on to them because I will not go below that set price. Now, that was literally about probably 20 years ago when we had that conversation. So now he very well could go, okay, if he still has that set price, he could take those pages because it's been 20 years and be like, now they would be that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I thought that was really smart because he's like, I'm the one that's setting the market. So where you do have people, and we've all seen this, fellow professionals of ours that do have those talking head pages that go, oh, it's just talking head page, $50. It's like, yeah, you just set, you know what I'm saying? You just set the value at $50, talking head page or not. So I, when he told me that, I'm like, that's kind of, I like that rule of thumb. So.
Well, and it's hard, especially just like Eric was saying, sometimes it's hard to put a value on certain artwork. And it's also really hard when you're not as big of a name as,
right.
you or Aaron Lepresti or some of these other like professionals and everything. When you're just like a regular creator and you're trying to price out your stuff, and then you'll put it out there and then it doesn't sell, and then you instantly go, oh my gosh, I priced it too high. And that's not always true.
No, it's not.
There's so many reasons that it may not have sold. Maybe you didn't have the right audience. Maybe you didn't promote enough. Maybe a lot of people were interested but didn't have money, but they do feel that it's worth that.
Right.
And so it's something that you have to kind of go, okay, well, what am I okay letting it go for? And like, I actually have some of my artwork here that I have put a price on it. And some of it I just won't sell. Like, right. I don't care if anybody wanted it and was like, I will pay you $10,000. It'd be like, I don't know that I will let it go. Right. I really don't.
Oh,
and
I've done that.
And it's, there's a lot of people that are like, are you fucking insane? It's $10,000. Be like, but you don't understand when it comes to certain bits of art. I value it more than that.
Right. No, I totally agree with that. I have a portfolio. Well, I don't take it anymore, but I had a portfolio I would take to conventions of, published stuff, covers, whatever. nice interior pages, whatever. And I priced everything really high. And I did it because then if it sold, I at least was like, okay, it's sold. I priced it really high. Fine. And somebody, I sold it. This goes back 10, 15 years. I sold a couple covers out of it. I think I sold a splash page out of it. And it was all for the prices that was marked. And I tell you, cash in hand, they're walking away. And all I could think of was I should have priced it higher so they would have kept on walking. And my wife doesn't get it.
There's nothing worse than selling something and then regretting that it's sold. And you're like,
right. My wife doesn't get it. My some of my friends that sell their stuff don't get it. So they're like, but look at the cash in hand. You got what you asked for. And I'm like, yeah, but apparently I didn't charge it enough because they bought it. So, but the nice thing is I haven't seen any of those because I know what they were because I don't sell my stuff. I haven't seen any of them for sale again. So
right, so they obviously went to somebody who really valued it and who found it treasures it as much as you did,
right?
Which is hard but good. Sorry, Sai, thank you. Sai has to run to go get food for the family.
Oh no,
I do.
That's okay.
It's okay. We're gonna wrap in just a second,
it.
But the one thing that I did want to say here is what Luke said. I don't want to come across as arrogant or full of myself, so that factors into what I charge. That I think is one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of artists make is they're worried that asking for what their time and their skill is worth is going to come across as arrogant.
Well, and the other thing too is you'll have somebody say, well, I'm not so-and-so. And, they mention a big artist everybody knows of, whatever. Right. And when I hear that, I go, well, A, they weren't always so-and-so.
Yep.
B, you're literally just the one that put them on that pedestal. I try not to do that. Look, I'm friends with guys that are really, top A-list, whatever you want to call it, but I don't treat them any differently, And it's like you're not, you have to be honest with yourself too. When somebody's putting out a book for the first time, one of the things I'll tell them is, look at what your competition is and really objectively look at your stuff and see how it measures up. Because you have to be honest with yourself as well.
You do. And your prices as you grow as an artist, your prices will also grow.
Exactly. And they should.
The point.
And when you see somebody that's good and their prices haven't changed and you're like, try to tell them, yeah, you should raise it up like everybody does. And they're like, you're just all right. So you're back.
I told my mom, look, I've got Andy Smith on my channel. Okay,
yeah, this
isn't like Jim. This isn't
not
like Jim Lee or somebody. This is someone of substantial value. She's like, well, get back in there and finish your show then.
That's right.
Well, that is the perfect cue for us to wrap up. So thank you so much, Andy, for hanging out with us. Every time we have you on, time just slips away. I swear.
I know.
Can I has cheeseburger? Yes, Mexicon. See, and I agree with Eric. Except those Uber Eats fees are fucking insane.
They really are, and
like I wanted
$20
worth of a cheeseburger, and you want me to pay you $35 for delivery fee and others. Like, fuck, dude, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Oh, thank you,
Andy. We love having you on, and please, everybody, if you haven't checked out Kor-Drath, go check it out now. Are you staying in demand for a while?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And are any of the tiers or anything disappearing when you go in demand, or is it just gonna stay up? Okay,
it's gonna stay up.
I'm asking for a friend. Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Yeah. That's sold. That
Yeah,
stick figure.
There you go.
That stick figure outsold my painting. So just put that out there.
I hear
and
you.
It became a blanket for somebody who got outbid. Yes.
There you go.
Merchandising.
That's how it works.
Right.
But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to Red Valkyrie. Leave us comments. They actually do a lot to help. And go check us out on Rumble. We cannot stream on Rumble because we don't have 100 people over there.
I know. Neither do I. I'm on Rumble too. Just search my name. That's fine. You'll find
go
it.
sub at least to both of us on Rumble so we can start fucking streaming.
At least it's there. So if you see us disappear from YouTube, watch Twitter for our Rumble link.
That's right.
And,
for us to cry about how we can't stream on Rumble because y'all don't follow us. Go follow us on Rumble.
That's right.
Or Twitch.
Thanks. Or Twitch, or everywhere. Just follow us everywhere.
Everywhere.
We got a locals account now. There's all kinds of stuff going on. But we're going to go out with the Kor-Drath trailer, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for hanging out.
Thank you. Bye-bye.